What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to an all-new 343 sample challenge. Here we are live on a Tuesday. As we are every month, we do one of these sample challenges with 343 Labs every single month. We challenge the community to take a sample, usually created by a 343 instructor or a guest, flip that, turn it into something of your own, and that is what we are going to be doing today. We are going to be checking out some submissions from our 343 Labs community Discord, which is linked in the description. I'm very happy to be here with you all today. We have an amazing guest that I will introduce you all to in a moment. But I want to say hello to everybody. Thank you for watching, whether you're watching over on my channel or whether you're watching on the 343 Labs channel. Happy to have you here. Want to let everybody know that we're live on both channels, but the replay will be exclusively on the 343 Labs channel. So just keep that in mind. If you're not subscribed over at youtube.com/343labs, make sure you do, because there's lots of good stuff over there, not just live streams with John Zelway and Abe Duque, but we also put out very good tutorial videos on that channel as well. So if you need more music production content in your life, that is the place to go. Hello to people in chat. I know I haven't seen you in a while. We only had a quick stream last week with Sanjay C and Darty, which is great. But what's up, Beats by the Kilo? What's up, Valguna, TI80 Mark, Amelia S, nice to see you. Sina, hello. Shout out to all the members in chat, by the way, the people with the cool membership badges. Amelia, I see yours upgraded. That's really dope. Zixo, hello. Wizlow, nice to see you. Falguna, it's been a while. Edoyama's in the chat. Aika, thank you. Sarah Bosky, hello, hello. I'm sorry, I'm going to lose my place in chat. My dad is in the chat. Hello, welcome, welcome. Thank you, everybody, for the well wishes. I put up a video today about like some stuff I had going down at NAMM. Hopefully you all saw that video. Simona, thank you. I'm so happy for your support, but please don't spam the chat. Just going to put you in timeout for a minute there. But hi, I see you. Welcome. And yes, Amelia, thank you for the 12 months of VIP membership, showing off your membership. Thank you. If you are a member and you want to use your membership milestone chat, it's like a free super chat. You can do that in chat. You can also gift memberships if you're feeling generous. But that's about it there. Brianna, hello, welcome. Nice to see you as well. Okay, folks, we have a lot to get to today. Oh, and Max Wild in the chat. Most importantly, what's good? Max Wild, welcome. Oh, everybody's clapping for Max Wild. Amazing. We love to see it. Okay, listen up, folks. We got a lot of tracks to go through today. We are going to be listening to tracks from the community. We're going to be giving our feedback, reacting live. If you want to participate in one of these sample challenges, though, very, very important to know, make sure you're following both my channel and the 343 Labs channel, as I already said, but also just go make a free account over on 343 Studio. I am spamming the link in the chat, and it's my chat, so I can spam it. So go make a free account over there, because that's how you get access to the sample. And there's a bunch of other cool free content there as well. But there's also premium memberships where you can get like one-on-one support with instructors, artist mentoring, master classes, live stuff. More on that in a moment. But we are actually going to be giving away 3 premium memberships to 343 Studio today. So at the very least, go make your free account over there if you haven't yet. Take advantage of all the free resources over there. And without further ado, I need to introduce you all to today's guest. We have none other than one of the newest additions to the 343 Labs fam, producer, DJ extraordinaire, I would say. Please welcome, everybody, Stella Key. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Stella. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to have you on. And we haven't actually met that much, because like I said, you're one of the newest instructors at 343 Labs, but I would love to hear a little bit about you, what you do, where you're at, all the cool stuff you do in music.
I'm just graduating from Berkeley NYC in songwriting and production. I've been playing some gigs here and there and just collaborating, top lining, producing. And I'm super excited to join the 343 Lab fam.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, we had an audio problem there at the beginning, but I think they can all hear you now. They're saying hear you now, hear you now. And I think it's on my end too. Okay, we're good. But still, let's hear everybody. She's so nice. See how nice she is? Everybody's welcoming you. You can hear her now? Perfect.
Thank you.
I wanted you all to read lips. Okay, but welcome. We were just chatting a little bit before the stream, and you were talking about like DJing and stuff. And a lot of actually the audience here, aspiring music producers or people just getting into it, no matter like what age. Some people get into it later, some people are young. As you're starting to like, you said you're in the process of graduating and getting into, going out into the world now. What are your dreams, aspirations? What do you want to be doing? What's the path that you're taking as a proper musician, like making a career out of it?
I have a few different goals that I'm trying to like keep separate from myself. At the same time, they have a lot to do with each other, but I'm just trying to keep it separate for myself. So one of them is working with labels like Sony, Universal as a producer and a songwriter. That is one of my biggest goals that I also like came here for.
Wow.
And the other one is playing as a DJ. So playing mainly like, I would say gigs that people come to hear my music because I'm also a producer. So you have like club gigs and you have like festival gigs that people really come for the artist. So like my aim is to like really like aim for that, like play at festivals and clubs that people really come to hear my music as a producer and artist. Yeah. So those are my main goals, I would say.
How would you describe your sound? Like,
my sound is very electronic. I'm an electronic music producer. It's very much bass focused. I would say I make different genres. Under Stella Key, I'm mainly making deep house and more like dance pop, future bass. And I'm working on a new project, a new producer project, which is going to be more like bass, like I would say more trap, EDM, more the heavier bass stuff. So I would like to also keep that a bit separate for myself. So I'm just like,
that's awesome. Yeah, it's interesting your idea about separation because I feel the same way. I do like total different kind of music, like lo-fi, chill hop beats, but I also like want to make like harder stuff sometimes, and you do have to totally like separate the kind of genres you want to make, to keep your artistic identity in all these different places. It's a challenge.
Yes, definitely.
We each have master classes coming up on 343 Studio. I want to know if you want to talk a little bit about yours because it's coming up first, actually.
Yes, so mine is coming up this Thursday. I'm going to be doing a master class on Serum, one of my favorite plugins, synth plugins ever. I'm obsessed with Serum, like spend hours just making weird noises and then sometimes it turns to something really cool. And I really, really, really enjoy that. So yeah, I'm going to be giving that on Thursday.
Cool.
I'm going to be going through some different sound designs for different genres. So I will be going through some stuff for like more chill, deep house, and then like some simple basses that you can use in pretty much like, hip hop, trap, all of that. And then maybe some more dubstep rhythm stuff.
I am thankful for people who enjoy sound design like you because I do not enjoy sound design. So I love just downloading people's preset packs or following people like you, like the steps, just like tell me how to do it. That's all I need. Tell me how to do it.
I would say I will start really basic, just like explaining Serum because Serum can be overwhelming for someone.
Totally.
It has so many functions. You can do, it's a world on its own. You can do so much. So I'll just start explaining it. And then from there, I'll build like the sounds.
Cool. Good to know. That's awesome. And then later in the month, folks, I will be doing a controllerism masterclass, going through a bunch of different types of controllers, use cases for different controllers, from the basics to the more odd MIDI controllers, and talking about incorporating them into your studio workflow as well as a performance workflow, talking about some of the options there. So those masterclasses are all happening on 343 Studio, and the way to interact live with those is by signing up for a premium membership, but you can also watch the recorded versions of the masterclass and past masterclasses at the free tier. So even if you're not going to sign up for premium, at least go sign up for that free tier at studio.343labs.com. Go watch some of the previous ones. And after Stella's masterclass, after my masterclass, you will still be able to watch them later. But if you want to interact live, sign up for that premium membership. Or, perfect segue, today, you all, if you submitted a track for the sample challenge, have a chance to actually win a 343 Studio Premium membership. So, Stella, we have a lot of great entries today. We have a lot of great music to hear. Well, I say that they're great entries, but I haven't listened to them yet. But I just have faith in the community, you know? You created this sample that we have here today for the sample challenge? Or did it come from
one of
somewhere
them?
else?
Yes, was from my song called Holding On.
Oh.
That's like a piano synth sample.
Yes. It's beautiful. Let me play it for everybody. So everybody, this is the sample that we have that everybody flipped today. I believe you can still go download it if you want, but you have to have already submitted to participate in the sample challenge today. So we already have our submissions, but here's the sample, everybody. Sample 1, 90 BPM, F major. Let me hit play, give a listen. I'm very curious. It's unique to most of the samples that we've had on this challenge before, so I'm curious to see what people have done with it. It's already giving me ideas of how I would have flipped it, but I know we're going to have a diverse selection of sounds today. All right, so that is the sample everybody's working with today. I will also just want to give one quick more shout out. We're going to be going through the Discord. Like I said, Discord link is in the description, but link to Stella's Instagram is also in the description. So you can start finding her there. And I'm assuming if they go to the Instagram, Stella, they can find all your other places, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect.
My Spotify, TikTok.
Excellent. Yes.
So important these days, TikTok.
Yes. All right, great. We're going to start getting into the submissions. So first submission I see here in the Discord is Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero says, today I have a little banger for you. In fact, I enjoyed the sample so much, I decided to use it 3 different ways with different effects throughout the song.
Wow.
The beginning...
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to hear that.
The beginning used the sample as it was. In the middle with the drop, I added some effects, so it sounded a tad bit different. Finally, at the end, added some effects to it. Hope you enjoy. Cool. Well, let's get started listening to our first entry. Sub-Zero Lights That Trap. Are you ready to press play?
Yes.
Okay, pressing play in 3, 2, 1, play. Cool. All right, Sub-Zero, let's hear what you got here. Folks, let me know about the audio levels as well. I love the tablas. The 808 is out of tune, however. So the percussion section is like really, really good. I think the drums, I like this beat, but we're about a minute in. I would have liked to see more variation by now. And also Sub-Zero, I know you submit music a lot for both my feedback sessions and these streams, but you have to pay attention to the tonality and the intonation and the key. You have to. This has been an issue in previous submissions as well. You can't just drop an 808 in without knowing what note it should be playing. It's so important. Like, this might sound pretty good if that bass was in tune. Like the new instrument that we've introduced, the string instrument. All right. Stella, thoughts? Thank you, Sub-Zero, for that submission. Lights the trap. Lights that trap.
So, yeah, I was listening to it, and then I liked the way it started. I was kind of feeling the groove, and then I noticed especially one of the bass notes was like really clashing. So
yes,
that was the thing that I noticed. Also, song structure.
Yep.
I feel like it was like a bit of a same line, just going. There wasn't really a lot of song structure.
Yeah.
Which is something I really listen for in songs. It's really important. So.
Yeah, it's super important to keep your listener interested, to build a compelling song structure. And eventually we did get a B section, but it came so much later. And one of the things I've been trying to focus on, I've been doing like different workshops and stuff with the community. And one of the things we did was like how to analyze the music that you like so that you can basically like emulate it, but also learn from it. And like structure is just one of those main things, just like sitting with a track that you love that really hits hard for you and just figuring out, okay, the verse is this 8 bars and then the pre-chorus happens for 4 bars, like really like laying it out for yourself so you can just
using reference tracks.
Exactly.
Really helpful.
Do you find you do that a lot for like how do you study the music you like to sort of bring the elements into your own music?
I use reference tracks all the time because I like to make a lot of different genres, and there are some genres that I might not be as comfortable in. So I just go and find like some track that I really like. I drag it literally into my DAW, which is Ableton, and I mark all the sections. And then I just like kind of like, I don't copy it, but I use it as inspiration, like, and song structure is very similar. And like, especially in pop, it's like, verse, pre-chorus, drum.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of all the same. Yeah.
So that stuff is super important. And Sub-Zero, I gave you similar feedback the last track review stream that we had. So I'm going to go a little hard on you, a little tough love, but you have to nail this stuff down. It's both the structure and it's both the tuning of the bass notes and stuff. You have amazing tendencies when it comes to percussion and always including the Indian percussion, like the tablas and stuff, which is really, you can go far with that. But if you don't nail down some of these fundamentals, then it's going to be the same all the time, same feedback all the time. But thank you for that submission nonetheless. The next one I have up here is Uncle Acid. You see that one there in the Discord?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm going to bring that up. Oh, and occasionally, by the way, we'll get a SoundCloud ad. So if that happens to you, just let me know. Or if it might happen to me as well. I'll say play and then I'll say, oh God, there's an ad. It seems like people seem to like the plucked string sounds. Yeah, you got guys like the kick. Yes, like I said, the drums was one of the strongest parts of that track. Yes. You guys can share your thoughts in the chat as well, of course. And thank you to everybody for the positivity around today's video that I posted. Thank you all. Appreciate that as well. Go watch if you haven't. All right. Morning Sun Greets Me by Uncle Acid. Are we ready to hit play?
Yes.
All right. Sure. 3, 2, 1, play. The sample is providing sort of melodic fragments for this piece. That's what Uncle Acid says. Let's see. Texture is in this.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I like the grittiness. Just gonna say that. I like the way the sample is being chopped in a very creative way. Like you almost don't.
Yes.
You do recognize this, but you don't.
Yeah, at first I totally didn't even realize, oh, like that's the sample. And then I started to realize it. Yeah. It's actually a very smart use of the sample. definitely makes me move, that's for sure. All right, cool. Thank you, Uncle Acid, for that submission. Stella, what did you think?
Like I said, I really like the creative use of the sample. I think it fits the genre and the sound that he's going for.
Surprisingly.
So yes, it does. Because the sample itself I wouldn't think of this genre with that sample,
right.
But the way he chopped it, it actually really does fit it. Yeah, and it just really got me moving as well. I think it would benefit from some EQing in some points. Yeah. Like I felt like I like the grittiness, but I feel like at some points it's a little muddy, especially the synth that's filling up all the space.
Yes.
It's a little bit muddy and gets in the way with everything else. So I think that would be my comment on it.
Yeah, for sure. I think with grittiness usually comes muddiness. So like for me, especially like doing lo-fi stuff, you have to be very careful about the muddiness as you're introducing grit, as you're introducing any kind of noise or just lots in that mid-range frequency. And to me, the creative use of the sample was really great. I really didn't know, because it's such like a poppy, beautiful sample, and to have it in this genre, I think would be a big challenge, but it worked out really well here. It sounded like the sample was mostly mono, and I would have probably taken to like widening that sample a bit and having it more floating around, and then just clearing up some of those mid-range and even some of those lower frequencies. I'm hearing like at the bass, like that synth is like very overbearing the whole time, but I really loved the floatiness of the sample and what happened to it. So yeah, some mixing stuff, and then I think this is a pretty dope track for Uncle Acid. Uncle Acid, thank you so much for that submission.
Definitely play in a club and get
absolutely yeah. Next up in the Discord, we have somebody named Bourbon. Let's bring this one up. Bourbon says it's their first time submitting, first beat and first time submitting. I love trap, but when it's more on the down tempo / chill side, I'm going to try to make more of this type of music. For this sample today, I lowered the octave, slowed the BPM down, added some effects, used it as is. Really like the sample. Cool. I'm excited to hear this. It's something totally different. The thing about these sample challenges is everybody has like a different take and a different style, and it's the same sample. So it's like crazy because they all share the same DNA, but it's all like a different genre basically. All right. Are we ready to listen to Winded Bells by Bourbon?
Yes.
All right. Hitting play in 3, 2, 1, play. Shout out to Bourbon for creating their first beat ever and submitting it to the challenge. They're definitely thinking about structure, because we're getting that sort of every 4 bars introduction of something new, which is good. One thing I'm looking for though is that variation in the bass line. We've got the right root note for the bass note, yes, great. But then we would want to probably follow the piano chords as we go through. Is interesting.
vibe when you
Yes.
take that.
The sample just disappears now. Very interesting ending. Cool. Thank you, Bourbon, for that submission. Bourbon, I would say for your first beat ever, definitely good job. Great work. For a first beat, like, the thing about it is, sometimes when people are making their first beat or whatever, they just go a little bit too crazy, or some of the fundamentals are lost. And I felt the fundamentals here. You know, sections were changing evenly, new elements were getting introduced. Things were in time, things were for the most part in key. Some of the bell stuff later seemed a little odd, but very good job. If I was gonna say a couple pieces of feedback is, so the sample itself has a bit of a lo-fi quality to it, actually. And when you use a sample like that, and then you put in drums that sound super clean, that basically have all of their high frequency content, they very much stick out as super bright. What you want to do is kind of make everything match and be in the same world. Not that everything needs to have like the highs rolled off or anything, but you want to just pay attention. Do these sounds sound like they all fit together in the same place? Or else you're going to have one thing sound like it's pretty either far in the distance or in the background, and one thing that sounds like it's super close. And then, yes, the thing I was going to say was about the bass line. So you did a good job of finding the root note of the bass chord, but when you're using a sample like this that has a kind of pretty compelling chord progression, this is something that comes with time, but you want to train your ears to sort of figure out what that progression is and potentially match the bass line to that chord progression. Stella, what did you think of this submission?
First off, congrats on your first beat. I think that's a big moment for everyone, for every producer. And like you said, I like that there was structure. I could really hear that with the drums. What I would maybe say as for future is maybe chopping up the sample so that it's not always like, try and like experiment with like cutting it, reversing it, chopping it, maybe just like playing around with it. So it's not always like playing the same thing throughout the whole song. So there's more variation in kind of like melody and chords.
Yeah. And what I always tell people is like, if there's an element in your song that is there from the beginning to pretty much the end, you got to find some way to either switch it up or find a place for it to drop out and then bring it back in. Like that's something to look out for. Oh, this is running through the entire song. Maybe let's find a place where it doesn't need to be there, or I can change it up.
Yeah. Or cut it, or
exactly,
flip it.
Yeah, make it vary. I mean, the ending was really interesting, but when the sample drops out, but it really makes you realize like, wow, that sample was carrying a lot of like the melodic and the harmonic. It was doing a lot of the jobs for the song throughout. Yeah. Cool. So thank you, Bourbon. And yeah, congrats on your first beat. That was definitely great for a first one. Definitely better than my first beat. I can say that for sure. Shout out to a couple people who just joined the chat. Wayward, Ambience, Common Beats. Hello. Welcome. Ozone Chamber. Nice to see you. Butterfly That Flaps, thank you for being here as well. And MS, D Lovely, a few people jumping in chat. If you're just tuning in, we are doing the 343 Labs sample challenge today. We do this once a month. If you want to participate in these sample challenges, make sure you are a member of the community over on the 343 Labs Discord, which is linked below. And then also just sign up for a free membership over at 343 Studio, which is where you can usually download the samples for these challenges and get access to other cool things. But yeah, we do this once a month and we always give away cool prizes. And I'm going to tell you who the sponsor for next month's sample challenge will be after this next track by Aika. So let's find this one. Am I right? Yes, this is Aika is up next. Let's bring this up. Aika says RIP speakers. All right, interesting. Let's see how this is going to sound. Unfazed by Aika, and Aika is in the chat. So Aika, tell us a little bit more about the process of making the track, thoughts, and all that stuff while we listen over in chat. Okay. Ready to hit play? Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
3, 2, 1, play. The sample is really good. Hi-hat's going nuts. Nice. Ooh, that brass is nice. I'm ready for like a big drop. I'm ready for it.
First the build up.
Yes, first a build up. Good sound selection for sure. Nice. Cool little reverb it out at the end there. What did you think, Stella?
I really like that you started with teasing the sample and then in the breakdown brought it back again, and at the end you brought it back again, but throughout the song you were actually like playing just like with your own melodies and harmonies. I really think that's very creative. I like that.
Yeah.
And also the drums sound selection, really good.
Yes, totally. Like good sound selection. And I think the takeaway for like other people, some of the feedback from before, like I was thinking about a previous submission where we're like, okay, the sample goes through the whole thing. It could drop out and you could create space for your own musical ideas. This is a really good example of that because in the intro, the sample plays out and it kind of sparks the idea of the song, and then it's a seamless transition into like a first verse section where the sample gets chopped a bit, and then the sample goes away pretty much entirely, and the world has been created from the sample, and now Aika has the space to go and like execute on his own musical ideas based on the world that the sample sort of inspired. So I think that is a really good example of that. Just because it's a sample challenge doesn't mean the sample has to be present the whole time, doesn't mean the sample has to be used like as is. Like you can find creative ways to get inspired by the sample. I do think so, like that whole middle section with the build up, creating anticipation for the drop. I thought it was building a lot of suspense and a lot of tension, but I think eventually when the drop came, it could have hit harder, or there could have been just a little bit more excitement or tense. I was expecting complete audio drop for a moment or something like more dramatic than that. And there was actually somebody in chat was saying, oh, it's a little boring here. And I agree with the sentiment, but the way I would rather people give feedback in the chat is to say, say something like similar to what I just said, like, oh, the drop could have been more dramatic, or there could have been more excitement, more suspense, more tension, or something like that. It's a better way to phrase feedback like that rather than telling somebody their track is boring, you know? But yeah, Aika, fantastic job. The mix sounds pretty good. Drum selection, really good. I really love your interpretation of the sample and what you did with it. So good job, Aika. Well done, well done. Let's keep things rolling.
Yes.
We have Xenopus, Bill in Discord. Some drum and bass, I guess. Let's check this out.
Exciting.
See where this goes. Yeah. All right, we got Forever by Xenopus. Are we ready to hit play?
Yes.
All right, hitting play in 3, 2, 1, play. It's a little bit longer than the 3-minute threshold, so we'll probably listen to the first 3 minutes and then we'll kind of talk over the ending. Oh, top line vocal.
Oh, vocals.
Don't be late. Miss you. Miss you. Miss you. Miss you. I want you. I want forever. Forever. I need you. I need you. Touch me. Touch me. Touch me.
Oh, I really like this section. I love this lead synth. Oh.
Don't be late. I miss you. I miss you. I miss you.
I think it's really effective to use this kind of half speed feel here and then go back to the drum and bass, like more faster feel.
Yeah.
I think that's
Halftime.
Yeah. This is the catchiest part yet, for sure. Cool. I'm gonna let this play out and talk over the ending here for a bit. Well done, Xenopus. Thank you so much for the submission. So cool and catchy. Great sound selection. Using a top line vocal, always very, very, very effective. And these were pretty quality ones. Overall, I pretty much liked the structure too. The section I like the most, let me just make sure I get it right. I think it's like a minute 30-ish mark. Like that section to me is the strongest. It's got those sort of brassy stabs, a nice lead synth that's very melodic and catchy on top, and the interesting almost like bass synth, the kind of like gestural thing, which I thought was very cool too. Well done with that. If I can give a little bit of feedback. First of all, somebody in the chat, do you play video games at all, Stella? Somebody was saying this song could fit in Rocket League. I don't know if you've played Rocket League before.
I've heard of it, but I haven't played it. No.
Yeah. The cool thing about Rocket League is like the music in it. It's like this futuristic like soccer with cars game. And the music in it, they always have like very clean, like EDM-ish kind of bright music like that in it. I definitely
Gaming music, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I definitely think this could
Definitely.
fit in that.
Yeah.
A little bit of feedback I had for the track. So I assume the top lines probably came from a sample library or something, and they do sound really good. But one thing that is usually like a red flag to me, where it's like, oh, this was a sample from a pack, not like created specifically for the song, is like there's just a bunch of different phrases rather than there being sort of like cohesive lyrical content all the time, or like little single words. To me, that makes it sound less like it was created for the track and more like, oh, somebody just grabbed vocals from a pack or something. So my solution to that is like when you're looking for vocal samples to do a top line, add a top line to your track, try to find like very specific phrases, lyrics. Don't be afraid of repetition because, you know, think of a regular song, a chorus, like the hook is repeated, same exact lyric, same exact melody. So give the listener something like that to latch onto. Just because you have access to a bunch of samples, like vocal samples, doesn't mean you have to use all these different bits and pieces. The way you use them, use repetition in the way you chop them and that sort of thing to make it sound less like a huge selection of vocals. Make it feel like you actually had the vocalist in the studio. That's what I would think. What did you think of this track?
Agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. I think definitely you can use some vocal chops, just like chop the vocals, use them as vocal chops, not exact phrases, you know,
Right.
to make it more interesting. But I really like the track, the genre switch. I really like that.
Yeah.
I think this was kind of like the opposite of everything else. I didn't hear the sample a lot in it, which is a good thing. It was really creative. It was more its own thing.
Yeah.
But here and there, I felt like maybe you could have included a bit of a sample, a little bit more with that stuff. Other than that, really creative. Yeah.
Yeah, what you said about the vocal chops too, like even taking little single pieces of the vocal and using it more as an instrument rather than a lyric, that would have been interesting. And exactly what you said here, like this is a very bouncy, high energy song. Taking pieces of that original sample and finding ways to chop them around would have been really effective too. Just hearing a little bit more of it throughout the song.
Yeah.
Cool. Bill, thank you so much for that submission. Well done. All different genres today. Really, really cool. The next one I have up is Faux Electro. And as I'm bringing that up, I will let everybody know that we will have, of course, another sample challenge next month. So don't miss out on that. And the sponsor will be Bitwig. So I think we'll be giving away probably a Bitwig license, or maybe more than one. I'm not sure. I don't have the details, but stay tuned for that. Make sure you're a member over on 343 Studio. Make sure you're in the 343 Labs Discord, which is linked below. But get ready for next month's sample challenge. Do not miss it. So many people show up and they say, oh, how do I enter? How do I enter? It's like, yeah, you had to pay attention a month ago. But here we are. All right. We ready for Enrapture by Faux Electro?
Yes.
This is another drum and bass track, it looks like. All right, I'm hitting play in 3, 2, 1, play. Here we go, chopping it up right from the start. Shout out to Pilgrim of Light in the chat. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah.
Exactly what I wanted.
Now we're talking. Okay. I love that super distorted synth.
Even to the ending, even to the outro, really interesting things happening sound-wise. What did you think, Stella?
I loved it. I really like when there's a lot happening in the production, and this definitely did that. And there was definitely a build in the energy from the start till the end, where it just like went from this and really nice flow. I would say when you use that many different elements in the production, watch out with the dynamics, because at some points they were like a little bit all over the place, especially throughout the last drop. Like the snare was kind of like hitting too hard at some point, and then the bass was not, I didn't hear the bass as much as I wanted to hear. It was kind of like buried in, because it was really cool, but I just couldn't hear it as much as I wanted to. It didn't get through because there's so many elements. So the mixing, it really comes down to mixing and giving all those elements their place to really kind of bring them all together.
Yeah, the brighter sounds definitely seem to poke out a lot more, especially even the crash. And usually what I try to tell people is like some of these sounds that are just like naturally stick out more, like a crash or like some type of noisy, bright noisiness, those sounds are already naturally popping out of your mix. You don't have to push them volume wise. In fact, you should pay more attention to making sure they're like a bit low, even lower than you expect to be putting them, because they just naturally stand out from the track. So every time that crash hit, I was like, wow, that is so much louder than everything else. So just mixing, paying attention to that. But yes, what you said about the structure, this is a good example for people to look at and just analyze the structure of like how to keep a track interesting from the 0 second mark all the way to the end. Very clear energy building throughout. And it's so weird to have this track after the one we just listened to, when we were like, oh, should have chopped the sample more, or could have used vocal chops. And this track like literally had all the things we were saying before. So it's bizarre that they came back to back. But Faux Electro, really good job. Really loved this one. Good job. And somebody said, can't find it, Faux Electro had to be at work, but he wanted to be here. Well, shout out to Faux Electro if you're watching this later. Thank you for letting me know. Wayward Ambience. Good job. Good job. High energy. Well done. And it's interesting because in Discord, Faux Electro said, throwing my song into the mix and seeing what happens. Oh yeah, just casually throwing a banger into the mix. And let's keep going down. I think the next one I see is Starry T. You see Starry Tea Time. Sorry.
Yes.
Wayward Ambience. Oh, I was just talking about Wayward Ambience. All right, let's grab this track. Shout out to all the people just tuning in. Hello, hello. Simona, thank you. Shout out to Emmanuel. Welcome everybody. Okay, let's listen to this track by Wayward Ambience. I'm going to press play in 3, 2, 1, play. Wayward Ambience, let us know more about the track in chat. Right out the gate here, we're in for something different. Spooky. There's something really beautiful about the vocal texture, the vocal sample. It's not something I hear all the time. interesting. Really different from
very experimental.
yeah, different from most things that we've heard today. Really cool. Like I like the thing that stood out to me the most. I love vocal samples and just the texture of that vocal. Really, really interesting. I would love to hear Wayward Ambience since you're in chat. Tell us what's going on with that vocal. At the beginning, I was a little bit scared. It was a little bit spooky, a little bit atonal at the beginning. Maybe a little bit atonal for my taste, but maybe that's just my taste. I always worry about like the intros to songs, right? Because like it's so easy to skip to the next track these days and the way people consume music. So I always try to be careful about like that first impression, right? Because if you only listen to the first 24 seconds of the song, you're not going to hear the magic of what came later, you know? So just something to think about. Not necessarily, maybe you don't want to change it.
These days it's 6 seconds apparently.
Oh, 6 seconds.
Yes, I just heard that yesterday, and it seems to be 6 seconds that people lose their attention. And
Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah.
What did you think of this track?
I really liked that it was super experimental and different. I think there was a lot of melodic and harmonic stuff going on at the same time.
Right.
It almost felt like it was like 3 tracks, 3 genres in one song for me. So maybe that's something to think about. But it's experimental, it's different. So I understand that.
Yeah.
That's the genre.
Yeah, I think it's interesting the way it sounds like different melodies and different ideas were definitely inspired and bouncing off of the original sample. But I think there's space to give each one of those a place to shine, right? Like, you know, like a traditional band, the guitarist solo, drummer gets a solo, bass player gets a solo, etc.
Exactly.
So like make space for that, and we can make space for that in our productions, you know, like give that cool synth line its time to shine where nothing else is really getting in the way, and use that across your track, something like that. Wayward Ambience says, I have an effects chain that I love. Convex, Spaced Out, Portal, Crystalline, and EOS. Wow, that's a lot of that is a lot of like spatial plugins. Very cool.
Oh.
TI80 Mark says 6 seconds. Dang, TikTok reducing people's attention spans. I don't think it's fair to say that it's TikTok reducing people's attention spans. I'm not saying it's not contributing, but you know, since radio was the thing, since MySpace was the thing, you know, I remember making music for MySpace and people put music on their profiles. It's the same principle. Like you want to catch people's attention at the beginning. So suddenly songs didn't have intros. They just started with vocals right away, you know? Like,
that's what's happening. Yeah. Also tracks are getting shorter and shorter. Like 2 minutes 30.
Yes.
Like labels are looking for like short songs. Mm-hmm. Like, make your song shorter.
Yes. Let's dive into the next track. We've got Edoyama Edo in the next track. I mean, the next one up here in the Discord.
Yes.
Don't you ever try, says Edoyama. Interesting. Ed is in the chat. Oyama Music, thanks for being here. We love it. We love it. Let's catch this track. I always have to poke back at chat when they're like talking about, oh, it's TikTok. TikTok's a problem. My friends, TikTok is just like, it's a platform like any other platform. Radio has the same issues, right? Like radio, they're catching people's attention. Like this is not new. It's not like, oh my God, this new generation is ruining everything. No, we go through cycles. It's all the same stuff. So just don't. Everybody's like immediate reaction is like, oh, TikTok, whatever. But you said you do like some TikTok content and stuff, right, Stella?
I just figured that I have to force myself at this point to like be on TikTok, because literally we had this meeting yesterday with like social media people and labels and everything at our campus, and they were like, TikTok is the thing right now. Like because like labels, like all the creative, they're all looking for the next TikTok superstar. That's like, it's like being forced, literally. Like all the labels are asking the artists for TikToks every day. You know, it's like, it's a real thing. Like, I wouldn't say I like it, but it's just like
it's the medium of the day. Yeah, it's the way it is.
It's how it's moving. Yeah.
I think that's how you got to be successful in music. It's like, it's the way it is. Like we can sit around and complain about the game the whole time, or you can be playing the game. I was just at NAMM and I walked by a talk where they were talking about TikTokers. I kind of watched for a couple minutes, but they were talking about discoverability and how like this one artist, people started using his song and he ended up in like a major label like bidding war just because his song got used in like millions of TikToks. So it is what it is, you know? It
is, fortunately, or not
fortunately, unfortunately. It just is how it is, you know? Like we might as well not judge it. All right. Don't You Ever Try by Oyama Music. Ready to listen to it? Pressing play in 3, 2, 1, play. Chop drums and chop the sample with Serato sample. Interesting transition. Like that, like choir vocal sound. Vocal is Alina Smith sample. Oh, cool. Sounds great. Okay. Yeah, good little tape stop ending there. All right. What did you think, Stella?
It felt like I was on a journey. Like
Definitely
it was
a
taking
journey.
me through all this like different vibes, different, especially the vocal samples definitely triggered that. Different. I think one of them was a little buried, not the female vocal. The male vocal was a little buried under like a lot of effects. So I would have liked to hear that maybe more clearly, maybe in another way. Definitely felt like a journey, and it had also the lo-fi type feeling to it.
Yes. For me, like right from the, so it's very like bright sunny day style beat. I mean, the palm trees artwork is like very fitting for this, and good job on the structure, especially Ed. I do like that we got a very compelling structure here, and I do like a lot of the vocal samples, and the chopping of the original sample was interesting. I do feel that it was a little bit busy and a little bit. If we think about this beat, it's supposed to be like head nodding. It's a little fast paced, but it's like head nodding, feels pretty smooth with those vocal samples. But the sample chop is like very like frenetic almost. It's very da 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 da, very short, very chopped. And to me, it's not contributing to the bounce of the track. It's kind of just like keeping me a little bit anxious a little bit throughout the whole thing. So just be aware of that. And it goes back to the feedback we had for a previous track where it's like, give certain things a place to shine. If there's too much happening at once, it's really hard for the listener to latch on. So there's a lot of cool melodies here, a lot of cool ideas here, but sometimes they're competing for attention a little bit. So just like, there's always space I find to pull back a little bit. You know, I look at my track and I think, how am I overcomplicating things, and try to like just simplify it down. But otherwise, good vibe overall, and very good sound selection. Like those lyre music samples are really good, and I love the crunchy hip hop lo-fi drums are really cool too. Mm-hmm. Well done, Ed. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Let's see, we have a few more to go. 2 more to go, I think. All right, we got a couple more submissions, and as we near the end here, the next one is Wizlow, yes. With Memories Persist. As we get towards the end here, I want to say thank you to everybody who's been submitting. Thank you to all the supportive community members in chat who are just here to have some fun. Reminder that you can enter these sample challenges each month by joining the 343 Labs Discord, which is linked in the description. You can create a free account over at 343 Studio, studio.343labs.com. I've spammed it a couple times in chat. And a reminder to folks that the replay of this stream will be available exclusively on youtube.com/343 Labs. So thank you all for tuning in live. My guest today, Stella Key, amazing producer and DJ. Check her out. Instagram link is in the description. She created the amazing sample that everybody is flipping today. So without further ado, let's listen to the next couple tracks and then we'll go and deliberate on who our 3 winners will be today. So Memories Persist by Wizlow. Pressing play in 3. Oh, hold on. Let me figure this out. Pressing play in 3, 2, 1, play. Interesting, like piano rendition of the sample, like kind of recreated. I'm having a little bit of trouble. There's parts of the track that feel like almost like fantasy fairy tale-esque elements, and then it's juxtaposed with like the sort of like hip hop beat, and I'm having trouble feeling like those fit together, you know? I think separately, bass line and the drums sound like good hip hop drums, good hip hop bass line, but the other elements, I'm not feeling harmony, you know? Yeah, so I guess that ending is actually the sample as well. Just a lot of processing on it, according to the notes here. Yeah, so I could talk more about my thoughts about and it sounds like Wizlow says my thoughts about it are the same at Tetro. So yeah, we could talk about that a little bit. But Stella, what were your thoughts about this track?
I like the vibe. It was really like vibey and chill and like kind of similar to the one before, but then I guess less elements, so things had their space more. Yeah, it was really vibey, and at the end, yeah, I did feel like there were like two different songs in one. Right. What you said, yeah. And
sometimes it works well, of course. Mixing genres can work out very, very well sometimes, but I think you have to pay attention to like what each genre tends to bring out. Like hip hop beats usually brings out some type of groove, some type of head nod, something like that. But then the other genre that this kind of mixed with, I don't know what kind of genre I would call it, but like I said, it's those fantasy, almost cinematic elements, like with the beautiful strings and bells, yeah. And that more inspires, or like it makes it feel inspirational, or it's just it's two separate feelings that the two things are trying to convey, and they don't really come together to convey one thing, which is, I think, the thing that you can tend to do when you're mixing genres. Can you bring maybe the groove from hip hop into the energy of EDM, and then those two things could combine to make something that kind of makes sense? These two elements, I'm not feeling like they make sense. So it almost feels like, so Wizlow said, I might try switching the drums up on it. Maybe it is the drums. I would lean into more of the fantasy, the cinematic elements, and try to figure out what fits more with those, rather than trying to make it into a hip hop beat, because there's a lot of beautiful textures here too. That could definitely become something. I'm just not feeling what that something is, you know? But cool ideas with the sample, chopping it. Some of the piano melodies are beautiful, and some of the strings are very nice too. It's like, how do
One
you...
other thing that I felt, again, some muddiness in the mix.
Yeah.
Maybe that's really like lo-fi genre related, but I did feel like it could like also benefit for some EQing.
Yeah, it's also an element of like using a bunch of different types of different sounds, right? If we have that sort of lo-fied out sample right there in the middle, but we have these bright, clean strings on top, it really draws attention to the muddy lo-fi-ness that's happening there in the middle. Mm-hmm. So like that's another issue with combining these different types of sounds. Wizlow said, when you say muddy, where, if you don't mind? Maybe you could just talk a little bit more about the mix.
You mean which part of the song?
Which part of the...
I would say mainly the piano, the lower piano sample.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That was like on the lower, like
Yes.
filling up the low frequencies. That was what like felt to me. Yeah.
It's always a challenge with piano because you want to have a deep bassy piano, but if you already have a bass, then you don't really need that.
We're gonna clash. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right, let's move on. I believe we have one more entry. Yes, TI-80 Mark. And what I'm actually going to do, there is a SoundCloud submission there still, but there's also a YouTube link. I am going to grab the YouTube link just so the audience has something visual to watch.
Okay, I'll do the same.
Okay. So I'll grab that, start it from 0, 0. TI-80 Mark always does this cool little like stop motion, he has little like robot like figurines and stuff like that. So it's just cool to watch, I guess. It's always a little story.
Let's do it.
You will be asked to fully explain the story after we watch this. So prepare. All right, I'm going to press play on this in 3, 2, 1, play. Sinister Bots. Super dark.
Very
Cool.
spooky.
TI-80 Mark, well done. My initial reaction though is like I have no idea where the sample is. So according to these notes, chopped it up, distorted it, pitch shifted it, and made it into a new melody that comes in at 47 seconds. Ran it through splitter to get mostly just the piano out of it. Let me just listen back to 47 seconds. Yeah, I guess like Yes. So just my one reaction to that is like, you could do any sample challenge, and this isn't what you did, but you could do any sample challenge, take your sample and literally like put it into like a granular, like just do granular synthesis and play it as an instrument, you know? And then it's like, if you can do that with any sample, then it kind of defeats the purpose of the sample challenge. So I have no doubt you're doing cool things with the sample here, but like, it's like some of the sample's original DNA should be like still present somewhere. And even though it is present here, if it's like completely, it is good to transform it, but like we want to recognize it a little bit, I guess. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Stella?
I agree with you. I mean, the vibe was very clear.
Yeah.
The genre you're going for is spooky, very clear, very nice. But I didn't hear the sample in it either. So like, that's my only note, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. To talk about the track, regardless of that, TID Mark, I think you did a great job. Like, very dark, spooky. I think the length was just right. I think your visual style is also getting better and better since the last visuals I've seen from you. And mix-wise, actually sounded really clean despite having a lot of like distorted and dark sounds. Yeah. What did you think about like the overall sound, Stella?
I agree. I could definitely see this playing some underground vibe club. I could hear that definitely. It makes this clean. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's like good for like sync and good for, you know, commercial type music, you know, that needs this dark sound, film score slightly. Yeah. Good job. TID Mark. Well done. I think that was our last entry of the day. No. We have one more. I just spotted it. Good thing I saw it. We have one more. Regina's, it's kind of towards the end on June 7th.
Yes, I found it.
Got it. Okay, we have one more entry, folks. I'm so glad I did not miss that from Eugene.
And it's 9 minutes?
I don't think we're going to listen to all 9 minutes, but I think that first...
The first part?
Yes, I think it seems like there was some struggle here for sure.
Maybe with the bouncing.
Yes, for sure. But we're going to give a listen to this beginning part. Anyway, so Bigfoot Dub Trek 343 June Challenge Shot MP3. All right, let's give this a listen. In 3, 2, 1, play. What I think is interesting about that whole later section is that it looks like there's sound there. It doesn't look like silence. Interesting. There's some strange stuff happening rhythmically here. Trying to find context. Okay, Regine, as this plays out, what I'm going to say is I don't really understand the execution. Like, I would like to have more context about the execution of this track, because what we have here is kind of a pretty straight ahead rhythm, straight ahead drum track, a semi-interesting, what almost sounds like a reversed synth sound, random interjection of the chopped sample, some dirty drum processing too, but as a piece of music, like a finished piece of music, I'm trying to understand. Yes, Craig in chat says, having a hard time connecting with this one. Yes. So, like, maybe as an experiment, it's interesting, sure. But I think what you for sure want to do is, for these challenges at least, we're looking for sort of like finished pieces, beginning, middle, end, something that executes on less of just a palette of experimental sounds, which I think this is a great palette of experimental sounds, and something that more, you know, something a bit more cohesive, you know. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Stella.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have to spend too much time there. All right, thank you. That was the official final entry, and we will move on now to Stella and I have to go off and have a secret conversation about the entries for this week's challenge. And we're going to pick 3 of our faves to get a premium subscription to 343 Studio. Just a reminder to everybody that you can sign up for 343 Studio for free at studio.343labs.com. There's lots of free content over there, pre-recorded masterclasses and things like that. But if you want to tune into masterclasses live, if you want one-on-one mentoring with different artists in residence and other perks, sign up for one of the premium tiers, or just wait a moment if you entered this sample challenge, because you might be getting a free premium subscription today. So chill for a moment. I'm going to put on some chill lo-fi beats for you all to listen to, and then we will be back with our favorites. So everybody hang on tight, and see you in a few. All right, folks, that was actually a quick turnaround time. Stella and I were pretty aligned on our top 3 this week, or this month, I should say. And I did just remind everybody that these sample challenges happen every month. So it's not always easy to pick our standouts, especially when everybody does a different genre, does a different style. And it's also open to all skill levels too. So it's not always, open. It's not always easy to choose. But this week we were pretty aligned. This month we were pretty aligned. If you want to enter into future challenges, studio.343labs.com as usual. Don't forget to check out the guest, Stella. Check out her Instagram. The link is in the description. Check out her music. This sample, by the way, Stella, you said it's from one of your songs?
Yes.
What's the name of the song?
It's called Holding On.
Holding On. People can listen to that on Spotify?
Yes, on my Spotify. Yeah.
All right, fantastic.
All platforms.
Go stream that if you want to hear the sample in context. But why don't we talk about our standouts, or why don't I just throw them on screen here? The first standout, the first winner of the premium 343 Studio membership, we have Forever by Xenopus. So shout out to you, Bill. Well done, well done. This is a good one. The drum and bass, it was a good vibes. To me, it's like almost like Dance Dance Revolution vibes.
Yeah.
And we had a couple different drum and bass vibes today. But it's interesting how even if people take on the same genre, it could be their own take. It can be original. It can have their own sound, So good job, Bill. Good job, Xenopus. Well done, well done. Okay, the next one. Our next standout of the day. Another winner of a 343 Studio Premium membership. Not a drum and bass track, but instead we have Aika, sort of more trappy take on the challenge. Well done, Aika. Really like the way, Aika, you got inspired by that sample, introduced it to us at the beginning, then put us into your own sort of sonic world there. So well done. Trap's going crazy. Shout out to Aika in the chat. All right, last one. I think this was for us like our top standout one. These are not like tiered this week. We don't have first place, second place, third place or anything. But I think it's safe to say, maybe Stella, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this one was probably the strongest entry of the day in general.
Yes, I agree, definitely.
So the strongest one we believe is Enrapture by Faux Electro, another drum and bass track. So catchy. Pretty well mixed. Good use of the sample for sure. It took us on a crazy journey with all those chops and stutters. Well done, Faux Electro with Enrapture. All right, I'm gonna let that play out in the background while we just chat a little more. Everybody, I had a great time on today's sample challenge. Stella, thank you for joining me. How was your first sample challenge experience?
I loved it. It was super exciting to hear to all different genres and different sounds and different genres. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Shout out some stuff. Where can people find you? What are you excited about? Where should people go? We touched on it already a little bit, but...
So my main place where I post everything about my upcoming releases and shows and everything is Instagram, Stella Key Music. I have one show coming up in July, which I'm really excited about. I can't tell a lot about it yet, but it's going to be super exciting. So follow me on Instagram and yeah, let's connect.
Okay, look out for that announcement over on Stella's Instagram. And don't forget to listen to this track, the track that the sample came from over on Stella's Spotify as well. And Holding On by Stella Key. That's your artist name, right?
Yes.
Got it. And you have a masterclass coming up on Thursday, right?
Yes, a serum masterclass. Super excited about it. Be there. Gonna talk about some sound design, make some fun bleep loops.
Yes, awesome. And that's over on studio.343labs.com, folks. Don't miss that masterclass happening this Thursday. I will also have one coming up later in the month on controllerism, so don't miss out on that either. That's going to be it for today. A couple things on my end. I'll be streaming live on Thursday, not competing with Stella's masterclass at all. You should go to the masterclass and go to my live stream as well. But I also dropped a video today talking about my NAMM experience. If you haven't watched that, you should check it out. And that's going to be it. I will see you all live again on Thursday. We'll talk more then. Stella, again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day, everyone.
All right. See you, everybody. Studio.343labs.com. Go watch over there. Watch the replay of the stream over on 343 Labs YouTube channel. All right. That's going to be it, everybody. See ya.